Hey everybody. Hey. Hey Fly Cool Chick. Thank you for joining. Hey Sophia. That's my rich friends. Ooh, I already started off with the hearts. Thank you. Who else do I have? Hi. Hey. No, I have a few folks. I have some new folks new to the scope. For those of you guys that are new to the scope, hey, thank you for sharing. Hey, Vita Luna and Carlos and Becca. I'm so excited to see you guys all here today. Hey, boo. So if you're new to the scope, you know that I call you don't know that I call all of my followers my boos. And really the full name is that you're my butterfly boos. And the reason for that is because we are going through metamorphosis. We're going through changes, and we know what happens. Hey, Mr. Mickens, when a caterpillar goes in the cocoon, they come out on the other side as a beautiful butterfly. And just because I call everybody my boos, y'all are my boos. So welcome to my scope today. My name is Aaliyah Mims of ltheoryexperience.com. It's a website helping to promote your life and live love and liberation, and we do that by breaking the negative patterns. Oh my God, y'all, I have not had breakfast today. So I'm going to jump in and talk about the purpose of the scope. Today we're going to talk about how do you know your life is off course. And the reason why I'm doing this scope and doing this topic right now, you said, what? You can't hear me? ltheoryexperience.com. Thank you. So how do you know that your life is off course? And the reason why we're doing that is because 2016 is right upon us. Today is the 7th. We have, do some quick math, 24 days to get ready for the first of the year. And the first of the year, hey Kathy, is the perfect time for us to start thinking about our goals for a few reasons. One, it's a new calendar, and I don't know about you all, but I love getting that fresh start with the new calendar. Secondly, it's a new tax season, which means that we get to start off this year financially with a clear slate and able to make some new decisions. It's also with the holidays being over, our spending being over, we can really approach the new year with a fresh start. Hey, boo. With a fresh start, and we can really make 2016 the year of our dreams. Too often when we think about our past year, we're not living our own lives. Tell me the truth. A lot of times we are living lives according to the supposed tos or the shoulds. And if you were on my previous scope, you heard me talk about the supposed tos and the shoulds in the script. We're living somebody else's dreams, whether it's our parents or our cultural group or our country. We're often living somebody else's dreams. Even if we look at whose name is signing that paycheck, that's somebody else's business. We're not even paying ourselves, and we're really living our lives most of the time off of tradition, off of somebody else's dreams and somebody else's goals. And so I really want to make sure that you know that you deserve a life of not only material abundance, but spiritual and emotional and physical abundance. And so I want to make sure that you know that by the time that the scope is done, you know your unique value proposition. In the business world, we talk about unique value proposition as that thing that makes your business stand out from the rest. And why would somebody come to your business and not someone else's business? Your life is your own business, and you are intentional and you are purposeful, and you have a reason for being on this planet. And I want you to know what that purpose and that intention is so that you can live according to that and not just to fatten somebody else's pockets or fatten somebody else's hearts or live somebody else's dreams for you. So, how do I know that this is real? And how do I know that you need to be focusing on your value and your purpose and your goals this year? Let me tell y'all a little bit about me. I spent the majority of my 37 years on this planet living reactively. I grew up in poverty. I grew up with drug addicted parents. I grew up obviously a woman of color. And I realized that a lot of the choices and decisions I made in my life were in reaction to those things. My parents were drug addicted, so I said, I'm not going to grow up and do drugs. I grew up in poverty. I'm going to go to college, and that's how we're taught. And that's a good foundation, but it's not the whole story. And what I want you guys to know, the difference before today is over, is the difference between reaction and purpose and intention. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I grew up saying that I'm never going to be broke like I was growing up. I'm going to have my own house. I'm going to have a healthy family. This is what my dream was. But in reality, I was living my life in reaction and not intention. Hey, Angela, thank you for joining today. And so what happened is, y'all, God got a sense of humor. God said, okay, I see you. You don't understand your purpose. You don't know why you're here in this planet. So I'm gonna do something for you. You think your life is only to be a 180 degrees from what you grew up at. So watch what I'm gonna do. What did God do? He removed all of that from my life. He removed the family, got a divorce. Removed the house, went into foreclosure. Removed the desire to be a mother. Had unexplained pregnancy loss and infertility for years. And so what happened is that when God saw I wasn't living my purpose, God removed all of those things that were not my purpose so that I can get clear about the separation between where my life were the shoulds and start living a purpose-driven life. So I'm going to do the first thing, and y'all, I'm reading from my notes if you see me looking to the side, and I have 5 ways for you to know that you're off course and you're not living your purpose. And I'm going to ask somebody to simply type them in at the bottom, because I have folks like Angela who is at work right now and she can't take notes, but she's going to go back later and jot these down. And I got people that are watching this on the rebroadcast, and they're going to be like, they cannot stop and rewind, so they want to make sure that they got it. So thank you, boos. Taking my notes. How do you know that you are off course and not living your purpose? And before I tell y'all that, y'all know me. I'm not about to tell you what you're doing wrong without telling you what to do right. So hold on. First 5 things about how you know you are not living your purpose. And this is all tried and true from my life and from the women that I coach. Number 1, you're not living your purpose if you're still telling your victim story. So if you are new to my scope, a victim story is when you tell about what happened to you and how you are on the receiving end. And when somebody asks you anything about your life, you are always talking about what happened to you. You do not own your power. You do not own the choices that you made. And you're not able to say yet, this is what I've been through, and this is my testimony about how I got over. If you're not giving your testimony, and instead of you're talking about your victimhood, you're not living your purpose. Y'all, my story, even down to where I wrote my college application, was around how I was a victim. It wasn't about my story about how I got over it. When I started to talk about not what somebody did to me, but how I overcame, my life changed. The second way that you know that you're not living your purpose, and this is real easy. If you write down all the things that you spend your time, money, and emotions doing, and if you can say you're doing these things because you should be doing them, you're not living a life of purpose. You're living a life of reaction, and you're living a life of not victimhood, but you're still living reactively, and you're not living your purpose. So the bad word, just like my business coach Nicole Walters, her bad word is free. My bad word is the S words: should, supposed to, in script. So if you come to me and say, well, Aaliyah, I have to do these things because I'm supposed to, because I'm a mother. I'm supposed to because I'm a daughter. I'm supposed to because I'm a wife. I'm supposed to because I'm an employer. That means that you're living somebody else's life, not yours. So that's the second reason why you know that you're not living a life of purpose. Here's the other one, y'all. And I want you to get real honest with yourself, because we got the biggest ways to excuse and justify and what had happened. This is the reality. When you find yourself repeating the same lessons in the same situations or the same type of relationships, when you can say, my life looks pretty similar to how it did a year ago, 10 years ago, I'm doing the same things, you're not living your life of purpose. And the reason why you're not living your life of purpose, and the reason why that is because God is going to give you some tests. And God it's not to be mean or not to be mean-spirited, but tests are simply here to demonstrate what you learned. And we learn through experiences, and a lot of times we learned by Angela, I can't wait for you to join later because I got some good stuff to follow this. Groundhog Day. Yes. So many of us think it's like Groundhog Day. And even in the movie, who was it? Billy Crystal? Bill Murray, I think. He didn't evolve beyond that plot until he finally learned to learn the lessons. And God does the same thing for us. We're not going to master. We can't get to the next level if we don't master where we truly are right now, because that's the same as saying, this is my big, people's like, if I just hit the lottery, I'm going to become, my problems will be solved. But if you look at it, I think it's something like 90% of people that hit the lottery end up bankrupt. And it's very simple. Why? It's because they didn't know how to manage the finances that they had with them. So therefore they brought those same negative habits into the next situation and end up destroying. So every day, you hate hearing that, but no, there's still 10% of people that are able to be successful, but it's because they learn learn the lessons. And so the thing is, if you're in the same situation, in the same relationships, and the same things, it's because you haven't learned the lessons. So instead of being mad about God, why would you do this to me again? It's because truly there's something for you to learn that you haven't learned yet. And that was true for me, even with my infertility. I remember when I wrote some blog post about, I can't believe I'm having another miscarriage, because, you know, the statistics say that I think something like 20% of women experience miscarriage for their first pregnancy, and it's not abnormal, but it's usually resolved itself. Second pregnancy, the same thing happened. And I'm like, really? Is lightning striking happening twice? Like, literally, it was down to the same number of days, the same exact symptoms. Hey, cheer! And then the third time it happened, I'm like, God, obviously this is not a mistake. This isn't just happenstance. There's something for me to be learning from this. And so the same thing happens with us, relationships, everything. So here's a fourth way that you know that you are off course and you're not living your purpose. Your finances are out of order. Aaliyah, what do my finances have to do with my life being on purpose? Because the reality is that we all come into this life with different means. Some of us grew up wealthy. Some of us grew up poor. Some of us are trust fund babies. That ain't me, y'all. Some of us have student debt out of our behinds. Some of us are married and have incomes that are in the top 25%. Some of us are working 3 and 4 jobs just to be able to have the bare necessities. So what do my finances have to do with my life being off course? Because God never said that we're supposed to be wealthy. But this is what I know. Our finances are often a reflection of the other stuff that's going on in our life. Not all the time, but often. Becca does have some fast typing fingers. She's getting them all down. And what I mean by that is not that your finances are a punishment, or that there's something you earned or something you didn't do. But I will say, after the women that I coach, that when I push them and they come to me because they're talking about, you know, my finances are out of order, or, you know, I'm in debt, I keep having these bills. And when I push further, usually the finances are not the issue. It's other things in our life that are unresolved and undealt with, and it shows up in our finances. So if you have no other way to figure out whether or not you're off course, look at your money. I'm not talking about your income. I'm talking about what you do with the money that you have. That's going to be a sign to me that your life is off course. If you have no other way to know. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about your income. I'm talking about what you do with the money that you do have. What you do with the talents that you do have, what you do with the time and the other resources that you do have. What are you doing with it? And when those things are out of control, that's a sign that your life is off course. And here's the last thing. If you have no other way of knowing if you're off course, look at your money. Y'all, there's been times where I made a lot of money and my life was still a hot mess. When my house went into foreclosure, and a lot of people don't realize this, and I'm not ashamed to tell it because I want other people to learn from it. When my house went into foreclosure, my income was great. It was not because I couldn't afford my house. What I didn't know were the habits of how to maintain and manage my money. And so I was making foolish choices. And I was making foolish choices because I hadn't healed in other areas in my life. I hadn't dealt with my mama issues. I hadn't dealt with my daddy issues. I was bringing drama into my marriage with somebody else that hadn't dealt with their issues. And so we were colliding and we were doing all of these things, and I was afraid to ask for help. I was afraid to manage my money correctly. I was afraid because fear was ruling my life. And what ended up happening was my house went into foreclosure. And if anybody knows anything about the 2008 when the housing bubble burst and when the economy went to crap that should be a course. It is a course. Was that in those days, the banks were doing everything possible for you not to foreclosure. Y'all, it took me 2.5 years of not paying my bills for them to finally foreclosing my house. They did not want to do it because it was everybody and their mother literally was foreclosing, and they didn't want to be landowners. So to say that I actually went into foreclosure at that time meant that there was a whole lot of powerful mess going on in my life. So here's the last thing. Those are my first 4. You tell your victim stories. You still are giving shoulds and supposed tos and scripts as your reason. Where can you get this course about money or about fear? Which one? The third thing you're repeating the same. You're on Groundhog Day status. The fourth one's your finances are out of order. And the fifth one So actually, here's a quick thing about where you can get that course. My Heal Your Money course, I'm not offering it right now because I did do my beta group and I got some really great feedback about people that took that course with me. So I am currently revamping it because I want it to be a really high quality course and one that's going to meet your needs. So I will let you guys know when the launch date is. However, if you want to know how can I start to deal with some of these issues and get my life on course, you do need to go ahead and go to my website, ltheoryexperience.com, go to the shop and download the Redesign Your Life, Activate Your Goals course. But here's the last thing. So I want you to get some more notes. The last thing that you're doing, how you know your life is off course, because I already can tell some of y'all are like, yes, boo, that's me. My life is a hot mess. What do I need to do? Go ahead, go to ltheoryexperience.com, go to that shop, and go ahead and download Redesign Your Life, because we're talking about this whole week about making over your life and making over your purpose. The last thing is that you find yourself accomplishing individual goals, but you're still not happy, fulfilled. Hot mess from the West? That's cute. I like that. One of the people I work with calls himself Hot Mess Express. So Redesign Your Life. Go ahead and get that, because I'm going to walk you through how to fix most of these things. The last thing is that you have your resume, and this is for people that were like me. You have your checklist. You have your resume. You can say, I've done all of these things, but I'm still unhappy. It's very basic. I feel unfulfilled. I feel like I'm not living my purpose. So no matter all the gifts and the abundance that God is giving to me, I still don't feel like that's enough. You accomplished that checklist, but it's still not enough. And so really my target audience are for those women that want to live beyond their resumes, because you look at my resume and it's easy to say, oh, she got it going on. She graduated from an Ivy League school twice. She owns this. She got that. Her bank account is this, but you're still unhappy. Then that means I'm the coach for you. Okay, so I got a couple of things that people say, because I love the fact that my rich friends are here. They even say, yes, boo, I'm a hot mess. But there's sometimes people that know they're a hot mess, but don't want to do anything about it. And let me tell you what's the danger in when you choose not to do something about it. The fact that you can say yes to any of these 5 things and you still don't want to make a different choice. Living behind your resume, trademark that. Yes, I will do that. Trademark that. I will do that. Okay, so I need to tell y'all some real truth, because y'all know if anything about that, live beyond your resume. Ooh, I might need to go back and change my course. Forget Redesign Your Life. Live beyond your resume. I love my rich friends. They always give me some good advice. The other thing is that a lot of times we know that our life is a hot mess. We know that we are off course. We know we're not living our purpose, but yet we still do. We keep waking up on Monday, facing that same job with that same issues and the same people, and we don't do anything different. Because the reality is that we don't see the danger. We think that if I still just stick to my resume, I still live by the shoulds, I still live by all the things I'm supposed to be doing, there's really no harm in it. I'm only harming myself, but I'm okay with being a sacrificial lamb. Y'all, we ain't Jesus, so stop with that martyr crown, because you're not a martyr and it's not cute. And too many of us think it is cute. That wasn't even my point, but I just needed to say that because too many of us think that, oh, woe is me, and I'm going to get my heavens in the hereafter. Let me tell y'all something. Slave masters used to use that line of thinking for you about getting your heavens, getting your riches in the hereafter, to keep you complacent and to keep you docile. Don't believe the hype. That's not what God wants for you. God will reward those people, but that is not his intention for your life. So let me tell you what happens when you maintain the status quo and you choose not to do something about it. And I'm not judge or jury, so I'm not about to send you to hell and anything like that, but I just need to tell you about what happened in my life and the people that I coach. You have people around watching you. You have your kids watching you. You have your co-workers watching you. You have your sisters watching you. You have your family members watching you. So when you do not step out on faith and do what you're supposed to do, which is living your purpose, what you are doing is you're teaching all of those people that are watching you that it's okay for them to not live in purpose. It's okay for them to be victims. It's okay for them to not live their purpose and to stay in the same relationships over and over and over again. So if you're comfortable with teaching your daughter and teaching your son and teaching the people around you that it's okay to be a martyr, a victim, to be foreclosing, to be in the shoulds and the supposed tos, then go right ahead. But I bet you're not okay with that. A lot of times I ask women, so if your daughter was in the same relationship, you would be okay with that? No, Aaliyah, I would never want that. So how are they supposed to know something different? Because they're watching you. They're doing what you do. So again, you have a responsibility, if not to yourself, to the people that are watching you. And when you learn the lessons, and when you heal, and when you step out on faith, what you're doing is you're empowering them to do the same thing. And my biggest motivation for getting a divorce all those years ago was simply, I do not want my daughter growing up and thinking that this is okay, that this is a healthy relationship. I only get the privilege of being her direct mother for 18 years, and she's going to live the majority of her life as an independent adult. And so I need her to know that even though this is painful right now, she's going to get through it. And that she's going to be able to make conscious decisions for her life. And she does not have to accept toxicity and dysfunction. I want her to know that her mother was a woman of integrity, and that her thoughts matched her actions, and that she lived by purpose, and she lived by God, and she lived by faith. That's the lesson that I want to teach my daughter. And so I made choices to demonstrate that to her. And you know what? God saw fit to bless me abundantly with that in return. So that's the first thing, y'all. If you think that you're not harming anybody but yourself, you are harming everybody that's around you. Unless you live in a little hamlet on the hill, there is somebody that is watching you. The second thing that I hear from a lot of people say, well, Aaliyah, I don't have the $20, or, oh, I don't have the money, and I don't have the time. So I recognize these are things I need to change, but I don't have these resources. I'm going to call you a liar. Let me tell you why. You spending your money somewhere. You're spending your time somewhere. You're spending your resources somewhere. And the reason why you don't have the money and the time and the resources is because the money that you do have, the time that you do have, the resources that you do have, you're using it in inefficient and ineffective ways. And because you a lie and the truth is not in you, well, let the church say amen. So you're using what you do have inefficiently and ineffectively, and it's causing this spiral effect where you continue to have lack, and you continue to not have time, and you continue to not have resources. You're unwilling to make that sacrifice and to be able to admit to yourself that maybe you do have what you need, but you haven't used the least of what you have. So God can't give you more because you can't even handle what you do have. So what I would tell them is saying, aren't you tired of not having enough? Y'all, Oprah, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, and me all had the same 24 hours in a day. And I'm going to take it another step forward. Oprah, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, and me grew up in poverty. Now, Beyonce wasn't in poverty, but she grew up very middle class. At one point, her mama couldn't pay the rent, and they were living in an apartment, and her mama did hair for a living. And she brought her child to her hair salon because she did not have daycare. So if they had the same 24 hours, they started off with the same resources, why do you think you're different? You're not. What they did was they knew their purpose from an early age, and they were on their grind, and they worked feverishly to make it happen. Y'all, if anything, y'all should know that I know random trivia. And so one of the things that Beyonce did at a young age is that she was performing in her mama's shop and telling the people that's like, oh, that girl's so cute. She was like, pay me. One of the things that people don't know about Michael Jackson is that when he filmed the Thriller album, he literally went in his studio and did not change his clothes. He slept in his studio. They would bring food to him and slide it under the door, Color Purple style, and he would eat and put it back on the tray, and he did not stop what he was doing. Oprah had every, pay me for real. Oprah had every obstacle against her. She lived with her mama. She lived with her grandmother when her mama didn't want her. Then her mama took her. Then she went to live with the daddy. She got pregnant at 14 and was living in the girls' home. And dropped out of school at one portion. And still finished high school. And still finished college. And they told her, you too ugly. You too dark. You can't do this. And she won beauty pageants and went on to become, obviously, Oprah. So, if they can do it, why do you think you are any less deserving? They did not grow up with anybody. What a lot of people were not telling them what they could accomplish, but they did it by their own perseverance and by using those same 24 hours and using those same resources. That if you are on this Periscope and you have the technology to watch this video or watch this rebroadcast, there ain't no excuses. Nicole Walters, who we all know is our boo, her parents were, I think her mom was a secretary and her dad was a cab driver, and she didn't even have her own bed and bedroom until she was like in middle school or high school. She slept on her parents' couch till she was like 12 or something. And that's what she knew. She ran her blog, naturalnicole.com, from her phone for 3 years. So again, I don't want to hear no excuses about what you can't do. You don't have the time. You don't have the money. You're being inefficient and you're being ineffective. And once you start living a life of purpose, then you will have more abundance, and then you will have more resources, and you will have more time because you get to clear the noise about what is not for you. So that's what I have for y'all today. And I have some homework, because y'all know I'm always going to give you homework. And if you book a session with me, I'm going to give you some homework, because I'm all about put your money where your mouth is and put your time where your mouth is. I don't want to hear the amens if you're not going to do the work. So I got some real simple homework for y'all. Y'all, this is free homework. Free. You don't have to pay nothing for this homework. Sell some fish dinners and get some extra money. Y'all don't even know. Okay, here's something funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. When I was in middle school and high school, I went to this really elite private schools. That's sometimes the benefit of being poor, broke, and black. Somebody gonna have some scholarship dollars for you somewhere. So I went to this school, and my school back in the early 90s was like $15,000 a year. So just to put it in context, Steve Jobs' daughter goes to the school. Packard's of Ariana Packard went to this school. I went to schools with folks that I thought it was normal that everybody ate sushi during lunch and diplomats were your classmates. And so, but even though my school, they had, I had a tuition scholarship, I did not get money for uniforms and for books. So this is what me and my hustle friends used to do, because there's about 5 of us. There's only 5 black girls in the whole class. We would go into the lost and found, and we would get things that people had lost. Now, don't think I was stealing, so hold on and listen to it. So people used to be in that lost and found were uniforms, and our uniform skirts at that time were $45. And so again, this is like I started at school in 1990. Skirts, $45. Textbooks, and this was a private school, so we had to buy our own textbooks. And so back in the 90s, my family had to pay $300 a semester for my textbooks. So what me and my friends did, because we had our hustle game strong, we would procure all of the things that we knew were of value. We would list in our daily announcements, hey, these items have been found. So we were very above board, and then we would wait an entire semester for someone to either respond to our ad that we found some items, or we would wait to see when people listed their items were missing. If at the end of the semester those items were not claimed, we took them to the used bookstore, turned them in for credit. So those $45 skirts became one. We would just wear the skirts, because y'all, I could do a mean hem with some staples, don't lie. But all of those expensive books became store credit, and those store credit can be used to buy more textbooks. So that's what we would do. People didn't even realize that my school had student employees, because we would go to the lady, Miss Bond, she was over accounts payable, and she had petty cash. So we were like, Miss Bond, I need to work. She was like, okay, go to the library, you can work for them, turn in me a timesheet, and we got paid $4.50, I think in the 90s is what minimum wage was. And so when it came down to the holidays, we would go work our little tails off, turn in our timesheet, and Miss Bond would pay us for our time. I used to go to the chemistry lab and be like, y'all need assistants. Don't y'all need somebody to wash all of these dishes from the chemistry and biology lab? Sure did. And would hustle my behind off, so all of my free periods were not sitting around hanging out. It was on my grind. And yeah, it was embarrassing a lot of times, because those are my peers coming to me. They see me washing dishes in the science lab. But all I did know was that I had money, because my mom wasn't buying my toothpaste. My mom wasn't buying my lunch. My mom wasn't buying lotion and bare necessities. My parents are drug addicted. They're not thinking about those kinds of things. And the reality is they didn't have the money for that. So I learned from a very, very early age to be resourceful. So not only was I resourceful, though, I knew from then that it wasn't my job just to hoard it for myself. So what we would do, and it was like a tradition amongst us poor kids, was that once you graduated, you could take your credit and assign it to another student. So I graduated with like all these hundreds of dollars worth of credit in the school bookstore, and I would turn it down to the next sister that was coming up that needed that. So dinners, did hair, arched eyebrows, any hustle. I mean, y'all, I have a day job. Where am I at right now? On my lunch break, on my calendar. So this is not company time. It's my legitimate lunch break, and I'm out here teaching y'all, because I don't believe in making excuses. And the one way that you can get on my bad side is make an excuse. I don't want to hear it. I don't, because if I can overcome, you can overcome. So here's my homework, because y'all got me preaching up in here. I didn't even get to tell you my homework because I was getting ready to talk about resourcefulness. Here's your homework. One, you got to come back tomorrow, because we're going to be breaking down the difference between what's a goal, what's an intention, and what's a strategy. Because a lot of times the reason why people are not living their purpose is because they have those three confused. And in the meantime, I messed up. I had it all queued up. In the meantime, I need you to tweet me. So you can tweet me at this same Periscope Liberation Theory. That's LIBER, the number 8, N, and Theory. Liberation Theory. You're going to tweet me with the hashtag Be Liberated. You're going to tweet me 2 things. 1, what song should I open up to tomorrow? Sophia, was it Sophia or you, Becca? One of y'all told me I need to have Christina Aguilera, Fighter. And so last night I got it all queued up, but y'all, I had another one of those mornings. That was you. I'm so sorry, Becca. And I had it all queued up and I was ready. I was going to come out to Fighter, because the anthem is perfect. What doesn't make you stronger? What doesn't, all of that. Y'all know I can't sing. I gotta have that disclaimer every scope. I was gonna come out to that. And I also want you to tweet me not only what song I should have, but I want you to tweet me. You have a choice, either a comment from today's scope or what song is gonna be your anthem for 2016. Now I got one more homework assignment that was given to me. Y'all, let me tell y'all about tribes and why tribes are so the bomb. Last night, Becca had me up last night cracking up. We were looking at this ridiculous video on Facebook. My scope is done. If y'all still here with me, y'all can jump off right now. Don't forget to tweet me what song I need to open up to and what song is going to be your anthem for 2016, or a comment from today's scope. And now I'm just talking to my friends, my boos. I got 6 more minutes to lunch. I haven't eaten a thing yet today. So y'all, we were looking at Facebook last night, and what was Becca, I told Becca I was going to jump on the scope today and talk about this, that this lady, life is funny. This lady was a newscaster, and she was up here talking about, oh my God, I had it all. I had practiced it and everything. Anyway, she was talking about, don't travel. I beg you to stay at home. And then the stop sign came. Y'all saw that today? That was every laugh I needed. Oh my God, that was so funny. It was funny. I hope y'all find humor in life. Life is not that serious. It is serious. Cheer. Go to Becca, ask Becca for that mess. It was so daggone funny. Like, oh my God. I don't understand how people can be newscasters. I guess they say the same thing about us folks in education, because y'all, this hurricane was all around her, and this is not some biblical reference about how there was a calm in the middle of the storm. Stuff is just blowing, and she's trying to be all Shakespearean, talking about, I beg you to not continue your journeys, and a stop sign come and knock her out. Mess, hot mess. Y'all know I'm a hot mess from the West, and Hot Mess Express. I hope to see you on my website, theoryexperience.com. I hope that you go ahead and download Redesign Your Life today in the shop. I hope that you tweet me your anthem, my anthem, and a comment from today's scope. And most of all, I hope that you decide to live a life of purpose. Come back tomorrow, y'all. Same time, same place. And I'm going to be talking about the difference between goals, intentions, and strategy. Y'all have any questions for me? Oh, thank you. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any feedback? If so, y'all know how to find me. Can't wait to see you guys and hear from you guys. Bye.